On the news, NAFDAC House of Representatives hold interactive session on recent raid on illicit drug markets. Speaker Abbas converses Africa's inclusion in UN's decision-making system. Plus, correspondent X-rays ways of enhancing budgetary process, strengthening oversight for good governance. Good evening and welcome to NTA Parliamentary News. I am Abubakar Galadima. We begin the news as the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) discloses that it generated a total of 2.5 billion naira from its recent raids on illicit drugs markets in Lagos, Onitsha, and Aba. Director General of the agency, Professor Mojishola Adeyeye, revealed this at an interactive session before the House of Representatives Committee on Food, Drugs, Administration and Control. She said the funds were realized from fines remitted by traders found guilty of selling fake or substandard drugs during recent clampdown on open markets across the country. On the financial constraints facing the agency, the NAFDAC DG also disclosed that the recent enforcement operations cost the agency almost 1 billion naira.
996 million naira approximately was spent. We borrowed money because we didn't have money from an existing grant, 159 million. And then regulatory expenses, 1.175. So out of the 2.537, we have 206 or 207 million naira left in the account. And this is also, again, I keep referring to it because we do not have money.
And what I'm seeing all these papers is that the work has not been completely done. I would like to give you time to go back and work on this. The Honorable talked about how much have you been paid into the account, what goes in and what goes on. You haven't talked about that. So we want to see things like that.
Meanwhile, Speaker of the House of Representatives Abbas Tajuddin has called for the proper positioning of Africa in the United Nations decision-making system, stating that the continent with more than 1.4 billion population should not be relegated. Speaking at the 6th World Conference of Speakers of Parliaments in Geneva, Switzerland, Speaker Abbas also told the global audience about the efforts made by the House under his leadership to ensure gender balance in policies and governments in Nigeria. The Speaker noted that the conference was held amid global upheavals, including geopolitical conflicts, climate disasters, and stark inequalities, with Africa bearing the heaviest impact of these challenges. At the conference with the theme, A World in Turmoil, Parliamentary Cooperation and Multilateralism for Peace, Justice and Prosperity for All, the Speaker stressed that the Nigerian Parliament has embraced parliamentary cooperation among countries, especially with its legislative diplomacy. He emphasized that Nigeria's parliamentary resolve extends to global advocacy and called for urgent reforms of the United Nations Security Council and Bretton Woods system to reflect Africa's 1.4 billion strong demographic reality, moving the continent from the margins to the center of global decision-making. The 6th World Conference of Speakers of Parliaments, holding in Geneva, Switzerland, also has Presidents of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and Senator Ibrahim Dankwambo in attendance. The Federal Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development has kicked against a bill seeking to relocate the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau from the ministry to be domiciled under the presidency. The ministry's position was given at a public hearing by the Joint House Committees on Aviation and Special Duties on the bill to amend the NSIB Act. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ikpen reports on these and other engagements of the Green Chamber.
The NSIB Act 2022 transitioned the Accident Investigation Bureau from investigating air accidents to a multimodal transportation investigation body now known as the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau. The thrust of the NSIB Amendment Bill is to move the operations of the Bureau to the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, but the public hearing triggers diverse reactions.
By putting them under the Ministry of Aviation, is limiting their ability to work.
Dislocating the Bureau from the Aviation Ministry will severely erode this synergy, disrupt coordination, and create bureaucratic gaps that could delay responses to critical safety events.
The transfer of the NSIB to the presidency aligns with global best practices.
It is also an opportunity to strengthen the Bureau's independence.
Once it is situated within the executive arm of government, you cannot get the independence we're talking about. It is only the law that can make it really stand as an independent body.
The Joint Committee's decision on the bill will be guided by expert opinions.
At another public hearing by the House Committee on Federal Polytechnics and Higher Technical Education, lawmakers supported the establishment of vocational institutions to engage the teeming youth population.
That will empower technicians and mid-level personnel. We will act as effective catalysts for rapid industrialization and development.
To ensure that our younger ones acquire skill which they can use either within or outside the country.
The proposed institutions are the Federal College of Entrepreneurship and Skills Acquisition, Zaki Biam, Benue State, the National Institute for Technical and Vocational Education, Bogoro, Bauchi State, and the Federal Vocational and Skills Acquisition College, Ilaro, Ogun State. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
In the meantime, the All Rights Foundation Africa, in collaboration with the European Union and the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, was in the National Assembly to advocate the amendment of the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2018. This is aimed at amplifying the voices of over 8 million deaf Nigerians who access to legislative information depend on camera lens and editorial policy. National Assembly correspondent Joshua Ogunjide files the report.
According to a study in 2016, approximately 23.7% Nigerians have some form of hearing impairment, which translates to roughly 8.5 million people. The high-level advocacy engagement is therefore crucial in ensuring that the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2018 is amended, especially as it concerns sign language interpreters.
Persons with disabilities should have an accessible National Assembly. From the gate, interpreters should be there to interpret for the deaf. People with disability, people with on wheelchairs should have parking spaces, and the elevators and ramps provided. There are some already. We're not saying that it's bad. The toilets too should be accessible for persons with disabilities.
Going forward, if the media team in the National Assembly can designate a camera that will focus on the sign language interpreters.
In furtherance, the delegation seeks a bill to be sponsored in recognition of sign language as an official language.
We want a situation where we have more inclusive activities at the education front, at the health care front, at the courts, everywhere within the country, so that deaf persons can confidently walk into any facility, any government office, any organization, and are able to receive adequate care, because our laws has enabled the entire society to be inclusive.
The Abbas Tajuddin-led 10th House of Representatives maintains its determination to investigate compliance by MDAs as regards inclusivity.
I will direct NAS TV and the ICT department to integrate a screen-in-screen feature for interpreters and formalize accessibility protocols and non-broadcast standards.
From the National Assembly, Joshua Ogunjide, NTA News.
The budgetary process and oversight functions are crucial components of governance, ensuring transparency, accountability, and effective resource allocation. In this report, Issa Muhammad reports that the budgetary process is a critical tool in ensuring that public resources are allocated and spent efficiently, effectively, and equitably. This process involves several stages, including formulation, approval, execution, and evaluation, while oversight function, on the other hand, is essential in holding the executive accountable for its budgetary decisions and actions. The legislative arm plays a critical role in budget oversight to ensure that spending aligns with legislative priorities and the Constitution. The legislature believes that effective budgeting process and oversight function promotes transparency and accountability, efficient resources allocation, reduce corruption, and improve good governance. On our discussion segment, we have the former Chairman, Senate Committee on Rules and Business, Senator Ita Enang, to throw more lights on how to improve on budgetary processes and oversight functions for effective and efficient service delivery. You're welcome to Parliamentary News, distinguished Senator. The National Assembly plays a critical role in budget oversight, ensuring that the executive spending aligns with legislative priorities. How can the legislature effectively improve the budgeting process for good governance?
Part of the obligations of the legislature is to find out, under the Fiscal Responsibility Act, how much money has come into the treasury every quarter, every month. From there, you now know how much of these monies are being released, having been distributed by the Federation Account Allocation Committee, how much comes to the federal government. You now see of the amount of money that comes to the federal government, how much goes to the statutory transfers, like how much goes to the National Assembly, the judiciary, the Human Rights Commission, and other agencies. Then the one of the federal government, how much of it goes to the Minister of Finance and the Accountant General, and how much of it is released to each of the ministries to do and handle the different aspects of what you had appropriated. That is the extent of complying with the appropriation. But the National Assembly seems to have, I apologize to them. For once, I am not going to be diplomatic with the National Assembly because the National Assembly seems to be losing public confidence. I live on the streets. The way the members of the National Assembly in the handling of most of their matters these days does not, with a little apology, it does not give the kind of happiness to the public that they are managing the public treasury supervision functions well, because they don't ask questions. How can you extend and cause to be extended the 2024 budget almost to the end of the year, about 3 extensions? Which money are you using to fund the extension? Is it the money of 2024 that you still have in stock, that you are funding the project of 2024 in 2025? Or is it the money that we realized in 2025 that you are using to fund and sustain the project of 2024? If that is so, what of the budget that you passed, the 2025 budget? Is it in abeyance? Or will you use, in couching the 2026 budget, you will couch it as 2025-2026 combined triennial budget? The National Assembly needs to retreat on its own, come back to its sitting.
Enhancing oversight is to ensure diligence in budget implementation. How is the 10th Assembly striving in achieving this?
You have to improve upon oversight. If you are doing it well, you improve upon it. But I will not say that the National Assembly, any committee at all, to my knowledge, to my limited knowledge, has done oversight well. Because I haven't seen them going to ask questions about how much did we give you, how much has been released to you, how much has been have you spent, where is what you've spent on, how much is remaining, what is the milestone that has been reached, and then tell members of the public to see. I don't want to go into the details, because if I go into the details, I will be descending into a situation that may be not too pleasing. And I want to tell the National Assembly that it was the 10th National Assembly, that it was the failure of the 9th National Assembly that led to the collapse of the economy, particularly the central bank, that led to the collapse of the Naira, that led to the scandal that rocked the central bank, and led to all the unsavory issues around the central bank. Because we had the Committee on Finance, we had the Committee on Banking, we had the Committee on National Planning, we had all the committees. We had the Committee on Financial Crimes, we had the Committee on the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Committee, we had the Committee on Judiciary, which would have and ought to have looked at every and each of these issues as they were arising, as the central bank were doing, and finding out all the things that are now being investigated. And let me also remind the National Assembly on oversight that it was much of the creation of many of the agencies like NFIU, EFCC, the ICPC, the money laundering institutions, and others. These are functions that the Constitution had vested in the legislature. If you do it well and you find something, you refer to for public account, or you refer for prosecution. That these institutions, even though these institutions are becoming oversight institutions over the legislature.
Thanks for your insight, distinguished Senator Ita Enang.
Thank you.
Time now to pause for some messages. Parliamentary news continues after this break. Do stay with us. Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the Marketing Department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy. Welcome back. You are watching NTA Parliamentary News, reaching you from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. You can follow the platforms on the screen for more updates. In Abeokuta, the Ogun State House of Assembly is probing the reconstruction work on Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, requesting the State Ministry of Works and Infrastructure to furnish it with total construction sum and amount of funds released for the ongoing project. The lawmakers, while appraising the mid-year budget performance of the ministry, observed that the level of work done on the road looks like palliative rather than total reconstruction of the expressway promised Nigerians. Yemi Dalemo completes the report.
The lawmakers, while engaging the State Ministry of Health and Hospital Management Board, urged them to strive harder towards achieving efficient, accessible and quality healthcare delivery and strengthen internal systems to enhance fiscal performance and service impact across the state. Chairman House Committee on Health Wahab Aruno and other lawmakers charged the ministry to deepen performance efforts by prioritizing service excellence and judicious use of public funds in line with the state developmental goals.
Really trying because you all know what is going on. You still try your best.
Major part of this performance is the impact project funded by the World Bank, which is ongoing, which is the upgrade of the 75 primary health centre across the 20 local governments. So that is the major capital expenditure.
The House Committee on Works, headed by Adegoke Adeyanju, while probing the budget performance of the State Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, requested details of the total amount released for the construction of Lagos-Abeokuta Abule-Egba Expressway and frowned at the level of execution of most infrastructural projects going on in their various constituencies.
This House wants the list of completed and ongoing road projects in Ogun State, so that we can defend Mr. Governor, so that we can defend Ministry of Works, so that we can speak for you. We can do pro bono PR for you, that this ministry is working.
For the past 6 years now, you cannot point a single, even half a kilometer that your office have done in my own constituency. The actual capital expenditure as of June 30, 2025 is 104,660,742,433 30 naira 50 kobo only. This is representing 52.87% of the approved estimate of capital expenditure for 2025.
The Ministry of Works, represented by the Permanent Secretary, explained that the ministry had been judiciously utilizing funds allocated to the sector, promising improvement in the areas highlighted by the lawmakers. In Abuja, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
In an effort to improve the lives of rural dwellers and upgrade their socio-economic status, the Kano State House of Assembly recently adopted 2 motions for the provision of essential social amenities in various local government areas across the state. Samira Hamis Sushira reports.
The 6-kilometer road was constructed about a decade ago and has undergone several repairs under different political dispensations. However, as a result of wear and tear, it has become dilapidated and in their need of repairs. It is the sufferings of these communities, especially farmers. Zakaria Al-Hassan's motion, who represents Kuragalu Malan constituency, is not different from his counterpart, which equally focused on the completion of a 5-kilometer road that links Zaria Road to Gadar Raji in Yadakwari ward of. All the motions were adopted. The House has been adjourned to Monday, the 11th of August 2025. From the Kano State House of Assembly, Samira Amisishira, NTA News.
Flood continues to wreak havoc across the country as predicted by the National Meteorological Agency NIMET early warning system. In view of this, the Sokoto State House of Assembly has moved a motion urging the executive arm to, as a matter of urgency, construct drainage systems in flood-prone areas of Shuni, Kwanawa and Dambua in Denge Shuni local government area to avert flood disasters. The lawmakers' decision follows classification of Sokoto among the high-risk states to experience flash floods this rainy season. Shehu Yusuf Anka reports on House proceedings.
Presenting the motion, member representing Dengeshuni local government in the State Assembly said his decision was prompted by early warnings from relevant agencies on the likelihood of flooding in the affected communities. He emphasized that constructing proper drainage systems and improving the road network are vital to the socio-economic development of the area, especially due to its proximity to the expanding Sokoto metropolis. He further noted that lack of adequate infrastructure has become a major challenge, particularly during the rainy season.
Lack of effective drainage systems has negatively impacted local businesses in the area. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, hence the need to address this pressing issue, it is essential to prioritize the constructions of township roads and drainage facilities.
The motion was supported and seconded by other lawmakers who described it as a proactive measure aimed at addressing the needs of their constituents. Speaker of the House, Tukurubala Bodinga, described the motion as timely and announced the House unanimous approval of the motion. From Sokoto State House of Assembly, Shehu Yusuf Anka, NTA News.
The global efforts at tackling the challenge of climate change has continued to attract positive attention as the Nasarawa State House of Assembly entertains the report of its Standing Committee on Environment and Housing on a bill to provide for policy on climate change actions and the establishment of a Climate Change Advisory Committee. Adams Abdulkadir has the details.
The Standing Committee on Environment and Housing has laid down a report, observations, and recommendations on the bill aiming to make the environment livable for inhabitants before the House. Private Member B, sponsored by the member representing Kiana State Constituency, Muhammad Adamu Omadefu. In his in-depth submission, Deputy Chairman of the committee, Musa Abubakar Ibrahim, pointed out that the bill is canvassing for a green revolution through tree planting, afforestation, discouraging deforestation, and other ways to achieve environmental resilience and mitigate the effects of climate conditions.
Develop and implement a state-level climate insurance scheme that will help protect smallholder farmers from crop failure to adverse climate effects.
Please, 19th of next month is slated for deliberation of this report. Thank you very much.
Away from the floor, Chairman of the Nasarawa State Universal Basic Education Board, Kasim Muhammad, paid a condolence visit to the Speaker over the demise of his younger sister, Ajaratu Jatu, and prayed for the repose of her soul. He, however, is soliciting support and cooperation with the legislative arm of government to enable the board to see through the supervision and all the activities of junior secondary school across the state.
We have revoked 9 contracts and suspended 2. The purpose of doing that is to ensure that strict compliance is being obeyed.
Nasarawa State House of Assembly Danladi Jatu commended him for the achievement in a few months in office, saying that the Assembly will give the board maximum cooperation for them to succeed.
We must not leave it to only the executive or the judiciary. Whoever that is caught doing a wrong thing must be reported to the appropriate authority. And if we do that, I think we'll be helping ourselves and the society. We will be sanitizing the society.
He commended Governor Abdullahi Sule for his passion toward education, urging them to support the state government to take education to the next level. From the State House of Assembly, Adams Abdulkadri, NTA News.
That concludes parliamentary news for this evening. For more updates, kindly follow NTA Parliament on the platform showing on your screen. Thanks for watching. Once again, I am Abubakar Galadima. Bye for now.